Um, anyway, this MCP stuff is just wild. Like I'm having Claude building. I built a pool inspection template, a well inspection template, and a phase inspection template, complete with parent comments and gunny sacks and inspector only notes, contractor tags, like and I probably did all those in maybe 3 or 4 hours. I mean, those would like to write three full templates with comments and gunny sacks. I mean, it would have taken me like a week. Like I mean it's crazy. And it's not perfect that like it's learning, so there's moments that it messes up and you got to kind of go back to the well a little bit. But we're trying to collectively be teaching AI how Scribeware works to speak Scribeware so that you can start using it to build your templates more quickly. And it's really game changing. That the idea that we have in mind with templates and Scribeware in general is that it starts becoming adaptive software where eventually we'll have an AI bot in the tool that you could have it be, helping you manage your template and library and create different templates. And you might have a workflow that you're like, boy, it's taking me a long time to do my heating section, and it could like make suggestions of how you could speed it up, right? And it's like, I notice you're doing this, like, I'm already starting to have these experiences. So it's going to take us a little while to get it all built into the app and be able to roll it out to everybody. And we're still figuring out, for me to be doing this, I have a $20 a month Claude subscription. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but like it saved me like I mean it did like weeks of work and less than like hours. So I mean it's like a complete irrelevant amount of money for the most part. But Steve I think's on, but I'll show you guys real quick one thing I had it do just to give you a little taste of it because I imported a template from another system and the templates came in like this. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Cool. And so I don't really like these templates with all these different sections because on the mobile app, it's just a lot of like clicking to get through, and there's no comments linked or anything. So I just have this really isn't a very good template. It's not very usable, even though if you view library, there's actually a whole bunch of comments. So the comments came over, but I've got this really clunky chapter with all these sections and nothing linked. And so then here's what I had it do. It took me a little while, but now that's what this chapter used to look like. And I consolidated all of the sections into one section. And I built, you have these little pull downs that you could use for these things to describe stuff. And then I've got inspector only notes built. I had it build gunny sack. So the first thing that you see here is a comment that came from his library. This next thing, AI just built a little gunny sack of likely issues that might come up with the floors. So pretty incredible transformation that AI did for me. Uh, anyway, are you guys getting an echo slightly? Is it
Yeah.
just me? Okay.
It might be me. Let
Yeah,
me.
if you can mute would be awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Okay. So that's just a little taste of MCP and AI. I mean, we're going to go much deeper into that, but I just thought so everybody kind of get the concept here. I mean, it's like you can start telling AI that you want to like build a gunny sack here and it builds it for you. And I want this as an inspector only note, and I want my comments to have an all caps blue title. Oh, Dana's on here. I've been trying to get back to you, Dana. Sorry. It's been kind of a busy afternoon, but maybe stick around after, or we could jump on a quick Zoom and I'll try to help you with your question. So anyway, so on to the topic of the day is scheduling. So Steve has been working incredibly hard to build scheduling in Describeware, which is something we haven't had before. So I'm going to make Steve a co-host so he can share his screen. And while he's getting set up, I'll kind of just tell you guys a little bit about where we're at, big picture with lots of things. All right, so Steve, you are a co-host, so you should be able to start sharing. And then, um, what we're going to be trying to launch here, we're hoping to do it this month, but of course these things get complicated. When we launch Scribeware 7, we're going to have table functionality available to everybody. It's currently in beta, and the tables are phenomenal for commercial inspections. And we're going to start doing meetups, and I'll have a bunch of videos coming on that once we launch it. We've going to have scheduling built into Scribeware, so we're talking about calendaring, online intake form, payment processing, agreements, locking the report till it's been paid and signed, all that
Yeah.
kind of like base functionality for scheduling. And then we're also launching our AI integration, which phase one of our AI integration is really helping you use an AI tool that speaks Scribeware so you can manage your template and library and get it customized how you want it a lot more easily. Arguably, you might not even need to use a lot of the tools we built because you could like tell Claude to do it. So that's kind of phase one. We're working too on AI workflows, right? Workflows are a little bit different. That would be, the sort of home run that everybody dreams about is you just wave your camera around and take a picture and it writes a report for you. Honestly, I having starting to use a lot of AI, I think we're quite a ways away from that, and that's not really a direction we're headed, at least in the beginning. But we've got some really exciting ideas around how to kind of corral your what AI could do for you with workflows in your template, so that it's just helping you speed up using your own template, and I think that's going to create some improved speed and report quality and also minimize risk. I think we have some ways that we could, get people using AI to speed things up without introducing the risk of having it, not drifting and hallucinating and authoring, making weird stuff up. So anyway, is that helpful, guys? That's kind of our like big picture plan here in the next few months. So, Steve, are you sharing your screen? Can you guys see Steve's screen?
No, let me show it right now.
Cool.
Hi, everyone. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yep, we got you.
Great, cool. So, sorry, just this. I wanted to kind of talk through where we're at with scheduling. The Our target date for rolling this out is now July 25th, which is a Saturday, I think, so that we can I'll give people a minute to play with it before we actually before you before it starts impacting you in the field. With that said, we have a lot of you that are on our beta already, a lot of scribers, and they've been using it in the field every day, and it's been working great. So this is ready to go now, with a number of caveats that we're slowly working through, and hopefully can minimize those by the 25th of July. So it's exciting. It's been a long time coming. I think we've done a desktop release in about 6 months now, which is very unusual for us. Um, so I want to start with something we recently added maybe about a month ago, which is services under settings. When you first open this up in Scribeware as with somebody who hasn't configured something before, you're going to be presented with a slightly different screen with this, and I'll show you in just a minute. But this is a fully configured service set of services. You got a home inspection, pre-drywall, and a verbal only inspections. Those are my main inspection types. And each of those inspections can have modifiers for the pricing and the amount of time that they take that you configure. And so with these, you set a base duration. You can set a base price and base duration, and then modifiers based on square footage and or age or other factors. So for instance, if it's in person, it's probably going to take 30 minutes longer to do the inspection. And then in addition, you can configure the default template type that it comes across as well as the contracts that are applied when somebody does that inspection. Now, there is a lot of data here, and it can take you a long time to enter in this information. And so one of the things we've built out is this AI assistant which allows you to see if I can move this view bar here, which allows you to edit, add and edit and modify your services in the way that you think of them and you describe, and then the AI will translate the way you think about your business into the way that we store it and present it from Scribeware. So, let's say I wanted to add a roof only inspection type, and so it'll they'll talk to our servers, think about it, ask you some questions, go through this whole interview process, and ask for any clarifications that it needs. For instance, what's the base price? It's going to continue on with, is it different based on the number of bedrooms or bathrooms or the square footage? You can and so essentially, it'll walk you through in an English kind of interaction interview how to configure all this information in Scribeware in the way that fits your business. The each of these can have you can also paste add-ons, or sorry, paste tables into this, or so you can paste your price sheet. So you could just like copy and paste that from Google Docs if you had, for instance, let's say, and edit that, and like what we have here with this long list of the square footages and price ranges and durations. You could put all that in a spreadsheet. Maybe you already have it in a spreadsheet. You just copy and paste that into the AI assistant, and it'll automatically take those in and configure them for you. So
the verbal thing is super cool. I've done it. It just starts asking you questions and you answer it. But if you do that, which is kind of fun, frankly, you'd be smart to have like some of the answers to the questions written down. So you need to be prepared to like describe to an AI bot what all your business pricing is, but then you can just talk it in if you want to, and it'll like build the spreadsheet for you.
Yep, or you might be able to export in from you might be able to export a PDF from ISN or anybody who are you using currently, and put that into the AI system, and it can automatically parse it for you and kind of ease that transition for you. And I want to be clear, what we're building here is mainly targeted towards 1 to 3 person shops. That's been kind of our mantra. Probably could do 5, doesn't make a difference. But if you're a 15-person shop or larger, we may not be a great fit for you just because of some of the interface decisions that we have to make around supporting a team like that. Of course, everybody's situation is different. So, if you're wondering what, then just reach out and we can see if it's a good fit. So, but this is mostly for the small to medium size shops. So I have my basic inspection types here, back to services. You can define your service area of, this is where I typically work, 60 miles from my office. If I go beyond that, I can add a distance surcharge. And then there's also these add-ons, which add-ons can also be have factors based on square footage, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. So if you're doing sewer scopes, maybe you charge more for a 5 bathroom house than a 1 bathroom house, right? So that's our services configuration. It's pretty broad. One other thing I wanted to add in here, because we'll see it in the next part of the demo, is that you can add arbitrary factors. So in here I have the inspection summary. If the inspection is going to be in person, then I'm going to add, I want to add 30 minutes on. If it's going to be virtual, then I'm not going to add any time because I'll just email it to them. And same with, I'll follow up as necessary. Now you can add these as many as you want. Yes, no toggles, categorical, geographical zones, that sort of thing. Maybe certain zip codes are out in Pacific Northwest, certain zip codes are on an island. So, maybe within your service area, but it's on an island. So there's a, $300 charge to get over the island, right? Um, all that stuff is all configurable and supported now within our scheduler.
And Steve, could you just
So
ask the AI bot, say, hey, can I create special pricing for an island, and it'll just figure it out for you?
absolutely. Yep, exactly. So you don't even have to think about it too much. The thing with the interesting thing to take a step back that we've been discovering as we've been watching a lot of these new products come online or a lot of our competitors is integrate AI is that you have to still have the user interface for a human to configure all these things, to write your report, to edit your pictures, to edit your comments or whatever, because it will sometimes take longer for you to edit it with AI than it will be just to do it yourself, right? I think probably most of us are do-it-yourselfers in here, anyways. So
Yeah.
I'd much rather figure out how to change a light switch in my kitchen than call an electrician and have go through all the rigmarole and the pain and the process and the payment and all that stuff to have an electrician go and change an outlet, and I can do that myself. It's the same thing with AI. Like, there's a lot of things that AI is really great for getting you 90-95% of the way there, but that sometimes that extra mile or that extra little bit will take some very explicit editing. And so everything that we do, even though we have a nice AI interface to it, we also know that we have to build the actual like user editable interface to it. That applies too to filling out reports, right? Dylan was talking a little bit about filling out some of our plans around optimizing the speed of report writing. Scribeware is in a particularly good position relative to our competitors because we have such a deeply we have such a deep level of functionality within our product already that's been tried and tested and is reliable.
Or even a millionaire. I think he just keeps his salary.
Oh, I'll try to hang on.
Wait.
You can keep going. I'll get him.
Okay. I don't know if somebody was trying to make a comment or
Yeah,
if
no,
it's okay. Anyway, so we have such a robust editor already that has been in the field for a very long time that adding AI on top of that will be a much more advantageous or much more it's a much more powerful thing than if you just had an AI exclusive or AI native report writing software. So full aside, that's why we have all this, the user interface around this and everything that we do with the user interface, you can also do with AI, in particular with service configuration, but we're going to continue to expand this concept throughout our product. So. Okay, so now you have your services configured. You want to see what it looks like for your clients. So also new in Scriber settings, we have our scheduling tab. This is the URL to the portal, or you can iframe it and put it embedded within your website. Down below that, we have the basic working hours for everyone on your team. And so company-wide, let's say my standard hours for my company are that I usually do inspections at 7 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 a.m. That's, again, test data. 7 a.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. You can, change these. They want to do instead of 3 p.m., I want to do 5 o'clock p.m. But just on Sundays, or Mondays, and you can have that. And then you can, apply these to all your days. I take Saturday and Sunday off. Nobody works, except maybe my daughter Annika. I make her work extra hard. So on Saturday, she, has to do a 7 a.m. appointment, which she loves. It keeps her from drinking on Friday nights. You can have overrides on your individual inspectors in your team, but then you have your company-wide calendar, and then you have individual overrides for the people on your team. This minimum buffer between inspections, you might have of course, inspections not just the start time, and they don't all last 2.5 hours. A really large house might last 4 hours, whatever. You can add this buffer time to say if an inspection is going to take 4 hours, and then and then I have another appointment. I don't want that appointment within a half an hour of the time that it takes me to drive to that, or that I would be scheduled to finish that given appointment. So. This is again not as necessarily as robust or as detailed as or complex as ISN, but that's not what we're going for. We're like trying to help 90% of the businesses take care of 90% of their needs. Let's see. Okay, so we got all that configured. Now let's take a look at the client portal. So. I copied that. I'm going to paste that into my URL bar. This is what the client portal is. So this is the scheduler aspect. So this would typically be integrated onto your website. You'd send this to somebody who wants to schedule with you. And this is what your clients would be presented with.
So just one question, Steve. Could I send
Yeah.
that link to agents that work with me all the time, and they could just save it on their computer?
Yep, for sure.
Cool.
For sure. Something we're gonna do, we have plans for, but we're not gonna do for 7, but for the release on July 25th, but we'll do shortly thereafter is this agent portal. And so your agents will have their own login that they can see all the reports with you and easily schedule another report with a given client. So it'll be a slightly different take on this. But for now, you're certainly welcome to just send this to your clients or your agents and have them or whoever fill it out. Right?
Cool.
It doesn't have to be your client that fills it out. So fill out some sample information. Now, this is where those services that we configured in the editor come into play. So in here we have some nice Google autocomplete. We'll automatically pull in the square footage, your built, bedrooms and bathrooms,
Nice.
and that'll go right into your report. And then you could pick your inspection type. Now you can see here that inspection type, if it's a home inspection, if you remember when we were talking about this earlier, the summary had an impact on pricing. So it's appearing here in the property. And so if you select home inspection, you're asked an additional question about, are you going to be in person, virtual, no summary, et cetera. The drywall, Tim, this probably all looks familiar because I stole it from your account because it's nice and nice and filled out. So pre-drywall, has ability to be notified. Verbal doesn't really have any modifiers to it, et cetera. So I'm going to say I'm going to do an in-person home inspection. Give it a chance to add your agent. This will obviously be pre-filled if when we have that upcoming agent portal. And then there's some other you can ask. Again, these are all arbitrary, so you can ask any questions you want in this and say, how big is a garage? This appears here because it doesn't actually have an impact on price. But you can configure it to show up either way in any of these services. And then
under the agent optional one, Steve, it is what if an agent's scheduling it?
Again, so right now this is the client portal's intended for your client. If it's an agent filling in right now, they would have to fill in their information. In a subsequent update, in another month or two, we'll have the agent portal, which will have this information automatically pre-filled.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and we'll do autocomplete with this, and if it's an agent that your company has used or worked with in the past, as you start typing, Royale or whatever, it'll automatically complete. But that part's not in yet. Again, all the little details that we're working on to
Yep.
try to get this out. Yeah. So let's see. So you fill out the pricing. Now, this warning shows up if the particular address that is selected is outside of your service radius. You can still book, but you kind of you call your client to confirm. Here's all the services that were available, and then the add-ons. And this is a great opportunity for you to upsell your add-ons, right? All this information down here, what you call it, what the text is that show with it, is all configurable by you. So you can say, radon is great if you live in these areas, and this is why you should be concerned about it. And, I highly recommend this service. Or, detached building, just be sure and select this as a detached building to avoid extra charges when I get on site. And so, you can select that and adjust the price, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And then anything else they want to add into your comments, they can add in right there. So you continue. Now then you bring up calendar. Now, so the calendar shows it shows that I have this meeting here at 3 p.m. and I'll go over that. Tomorrow I have another meeting at 3 or within the time frame from somewhere between 3 and 5. So that's out of commission. I can't, nobody's going to schedule that. But my 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. slots are available. So this dynamically just and shows you what your current availability is at the exact time that they pull this up. Your agent or the client may want to use a specific inspector, and so they can do that from here, or you can just have any inspector in your team. And so I'll select tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., submit the request, and then that will shoot off emails and add it to your calendar and give them a confirmation here. So then we go back to Scribeware. I now have one upcoming unconfirmed inspection. This will dynamically update, so as people are scheduling with you, it'll show you this nice, kind of visible orange bar up here. You can click on it, and it'll just show you the inspections that you have that are unconfirmed. This is the one I just put in. This shows you the address, who they are, agents.
I loaded your template too.
Yes, automatically preloaded your template. It'll automatically preload your contracts if you have that configured, but I didn't with that one. And it'll automatically apply the price. So home inspection with the modifiers was $700. And so had I selected radon or anything else in there, those would appear under here on the invoice item. So it's already, the invoice is automatically applied. If they call you later and say, oh, I meant to select a radon, or if when you confirm, you're like, oh, I want a radon, you can add that, and it'll automatically add that to your invoice. Okay. Then you hit confirm appointment. If everything looks good, you hit confirm appointment. This confirms it to your client, sends this email. So this is all test data for me, but with Scribeware, we now have, I'm back out of this for a sec. We have the ability to explicitly edit your message templates. So what you want to send as your confirmation email, what you want to send as your publish email, other emails, which I'll go over here in a minute, or if you have maybe you have a confirmation email that you want to send when people have a radon versus confirmation when they, are just doing a pre-drywall or anything. All those things are possible now. Our placeholders, we have a lot more placeholders here. Per many people's requests. You can do placeholders in both the subject and in the body. So now you can have in the subject, you can actually put the address of the place you're inspecting. So that'll help people find and differentiate your emails. So our email functionality is much enhanced, as is our contracts. Let's see. Okay, so back to confirming. You hit that. You can then send an email and say confirm. That marks it as confirm. All confirming does is sets a flag on the report saying, "Yep, that's good to go. I'm good to go with that." I'm going to have this inspection at 8 a.m. on tomorrow, and the email was sent to the client to tell them that that yes, we're confirmed for that email or for that inspection. You can change it at some point, but if you change it now, you get a prompt here that says, "Hey, this is time." You get warned. You're like, "This is time has changed." Maybe you've already told them, or maybe you need to re-notify them or reconfirm with their client. So yeah, you can do that here. So
Oh, if so, I can click contact client and that'll like shoot him an email.
yep. So contact client is always available. The confirm appointment is there as a flag to say you haven't yet confirmed this. Contact client is always available, and you can send them any of your message templates. So saying, "Hey, I'm running late," or "Hey, something came up," or "I'm looking forward to see you," or whatever. And those are, so you can do that at any time. It's just a really
Cool.
quick, easy
So
way
you
to
could
reach
have
out to
a,
your client.
a pre-written email that's like, hey, sorry about that, I have to reschedule. Then for that particular case, you could then type in like, I can do it
Would
next
this work?
Thursday. Does that work for you, kind of thing, right? And so then
Exactly.
all you have to write is the little end part of that message. That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Well, you don't even have to do that. So you could have in here, you could do, I mean, if this happens for you, I mean, if you want, you could have it in here, under message templates. You could, create a new, message template that says, reschedule. Say, would inspection date and inspection time work instead.
Wow.
And then I need to reschedule. Okay. And now you could say, now all of your reports will have under contact client, you could say, reschedule. Hey, I need to reschedule. Would July 30, 2026 at 10 a.m. work instead? And July 30, 2026 came
Because
out of
because you already
that right
changed the
there.
date on the job. Wow, sick.
Precisely. Yep. Yep.
Jeez,
Yep.
that's super
Yeah.
cool. Oh my God.
Okay. So we've confirmed this. It shows as confirmed on here. We have in our report history here, report list. Uh, we have that the contract is not signed and has not been paid. Okay. So they got the confirmation email. That confirmation email will go, we'll send them, usually typically includes a link to the client portal. Let me show you the client portal. So this is a link that your client is going to get, okay, through that confirm email. So the client portal has basic information about where the inspection is going to take place. Yeah, add a cover photo, it'll put it there, and it gives them an opportunity to sign their contract and pay their invoice. Um, our contract signing has changed. It is much improved from what we've had in the past. The editor is way better, and more importantly, the signing experience is way better. If you have multiple contracts in here, which I didn't add, let's see. Actually, I can just do that real quick. It's real-time dynamic, so if they haven't signed yet, you could go ahead and add additional contracts on there, and then when they go to the contract page, it'll show all of them once it's saved.
Wow.
Yeah, so now, so this page has all three of the contracts that I selected. Read through it, click to sign, sign my name, and then click to sign. It automatically just signs it, goes to the next one. And so there's no more like having to go back and then continue on to it looks like you signed and then you know go on to the next one. That whole nightmare is now much improved. So now I've contract now I've signed the contract. Um, let's say I'm kind of a slacker and I forgot my credit card. I want to pay on site and do a cash transaction instead of paying. Now, if I went to pay here, the other thing that we have now is payment processing. If I want to pay through payment processing, integrated payment processing through the client portal, you can add your credit card number, expiration date, and TCV. You pay the whole thing. We currently have the option for your client to pay the processing fee um, uh, on top of the normal inspection price. We will be adding, before we release this, the ability to allow you to absorb the processing fee if you just want to have the convenience for your client. Both of those options will be available. We also have the option of them paying, continuing to have the option of them paying by alternate methods. Now, this only exists here uh, for them to be able to view their invoice if I were to pay by cash or pay by e-transfer. In this case, all of these options here are configurable through the Scriber settings. You can configure what it says, like if you want to say Venmo or if you want to say, Bitcoin or whatever. And the language that's used here is also configurable all through all in here under Scribeware in your settings under client invoicing. Okay, so cash and e-transfer, you can say what you want to say here, and that's what appears in the invoice. Let's see. So if they want to pay by cash or e-transfer, there's no extra fee, so it takes it off the invoice. They will pay by credit card. It's currently configured to have them pay the extra convenience fee or the processing fee. If I were to fill this out and hit pay now, that would be added into your checking account within 24 hours. Let's see. So and automatically mark the system is paid. If they select one of these, then it's not actually paid. So let's say you're going to pay by cash. Or they wanted to pay by cash, but they'll do that for you in person on site. It'll still show that there's an amount due, and it's up to you to then go into the editor, just as always, and mark it as paid, and you say what they paid with, right? Okay, so that's payments. So let's say
Hey
they're going
guys,
to pay by
I see your questions in chat. Let's let Steve keep going and then we'll get to your questions.
Oh, sorry, I'm not even looking at the chat. So
No, that's good.
okay,
You're
good.
doing great.
All right. Okay. Okay. So go through. They're going to pay. They said they want to pay by cash. Now you go out and do the inspection. Um, and let's say oh, take one. Let's fill out a real basic inspection here. And drop some photos in, did my inspection. It's real simple, basic. Kind of laggy because of the Zoom call, my internet. And then you publish, send an email, uploads files. So I'm sure you've all seen this before. We have enhanced this dialog to give you a bit more information about what it's actually doing while it's publishing, gives you upload speeds and stuff like that. And then once it's done, now keep in mind with this particular inspection, it's not yet been marked as paid. Okay. So open the link. And it then prompts you. The report is not actually, you've already published it, but the report is not available to your client until they pay. Okay. Just payment or sign, and says exactly what they need to know. in your portal. Now they said that they wanted to pay by cash. Maybe they changed their mind or it's too late, or you're like, screw you, I'm not going to come back and meet you just so you can pay by cash and pay the, instead pay the 4% fee. And so they would have to go on and pay the invoice. Or maybe they gave you cash and you forgot to mark it. So you go back here, market is paid, they paid with cash.
And we'll have that little
And
paid thing on the mobile app, right?
yep, it's already there. Yeah. And then now the invoice is paid, payment is completed here on the client property information page, and now they can view that report. That all happens automatically without you having to republish, usually. And now, of course, now it's not working, but so normally, I don't know why this isn't actually representing as paid. Are we looking at the same one? Maybe. Anyways, don't look at the man behind the
I get it.
mirror.
So, but the idea is that link basically
Yeah.
that link keeps sending you back to the portal is the idea.
That's right. And that same link will automatically register as paid when you mark it as paid, or when they pay the invoice. And so that transaction all happens automatically. And so let's say you told them they should go and, go online and pay using the payment processing portal. When they do that, the portal will be open to them, and not before. And you won't have to take any other action. You won't have to like republish it or anything like that. So that automatically works. Now, let's say they wrote you a check and the check bounced. You can also, and so you had it marked as paid. For whatever else reason, some fraudulent going on or whatever, you can manually lock. You can manually lock any report you want. Just by hitting this button.
That's
that
awesome.
will update the report as locked until and when it's locked. Let's see if this works here. When it's locked, it will instead of saying one more step, it'll say, please contact your inspector. There you go. It'll say that instead.
Cool.
So report locking works much. A feature that's been requested for a very long time.
Yeah, I know. That's
Another
awesome,
feature that's been requested for a very long time is, as you can see here, we have a report history or a report activity listing. Shows you when it was created, when your client went to the portal, when they signed it, when it was marked as paid, when you published it, and just kind of gives you a history here. We this should be also showing when you send them emails and when they open the emails, if the email configuration is correct, also is when an email bounces. All that stuff should also be showing in this activity. For some reason, it's not currently. It's again one of those things that we're going to be fixing before we release it. So,
cool. So
but this will show you
like transaction, all the correspondence shows up there basically.
precisely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, and so then along those lines of correspondence, in addition, so one of the other features we've got here, back in settings, our latest feature is, let's say you want to send a reminder to your client the day before saying, hey, I'm looking for our inspection. Here's some things to prepare for. If you're showing up, please, feel free to show up an hour after I get started, because, then we can actually have a conversation, etc. You can do all that here. And so, when you can set a criteria of when the message is sent, confirmed, sent, or completed. You can say what message template you want to send. So these are the list of templates that we'd configured under message templates. So anything you want. And then you can say who you want to send to: client, buyer's agent, primary agent, sales agent, contractor, etc. You can send it to multiple people, right? And so you could say, the arbitrarily whatever you want. How long, and you can say hours or days, and then before the morning of, or the evening of, or and by hours. So if you did like the evening before the inspection, you wanted to send them a confirmation email saying, "Hey, I'll see you tomorrow." You can figure all that out here. Let's say they hadn't paid yet. You can add a condition here to say if the inspection is unpaid, I want to send them a nagging email saying, please pay the inspection. You can have that sent right after they schedule it, right? Maybe 2 days before or 3 days before, however you want to run your business. This is designed to support that. We're going to add more criteria here, more conditions. Let's say it's pre drywall inspection, or verbal only inspection, or if there's a pool on site. All those things you'll be able to configure in these message automations. You can configure different messages to go to your client and to your agent and anybody else who's going to be on site. If there's a radon test, you need to notify everybody who's going to be there that's not the client that they should stay out of the house or whatever. I don't know a lot about radon, but I'm learning more than I ever thought I would.
Hmm.
But all those things is what these message automations are designed to do. We will be adding text messaging. That's not going to be on the July 25th release, but it's going to be shortly thereafter. That's why we're calling it message automations and not email automations. And we'll continue to build on this as far as maybe canceling an inspection if they haven't paid or if they haven't signed, or anything else people can think of. This is going to be a big bucket catch-all for that sort of thing to happen. So we'd love your feedback on it as you start to use it and explore it. But this should take care of helping to run your business more on autopilot.
Amazing.
And give you and save some time for just doing inspections instead.
It's incredible, Steve. It's super exciting. Can we go through? There were a bunch of questions in chat. You want me to just kind of start going down them?
Yes, that would be great.
Cool. So Dana was asking if it will sync with personal calendars.
We are going to add Google Calendars. I don't know if we will have that by the 25th. I've started playing with that a little bit, and there's some complexities behind it. Ooh, one thing I didn't show you.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen the calendar view, I don't think.
But is definitely a high priority. Right. It's definitely a high priority thing for us to add is an integration with Google Calendar specifically. I don't know if we're going to do Office 365 or other personal calendars yet. That'll be a little bit dependent on demand. But Google Calendar, we get a lot of feedback for all the time. And Dylan and I have had trouble running our business because he doesn't have his scheduling integrated with Google Calendar. So it's really important to me personally. So,
Dude, yeah.
so we do have a new calendar view. Here's a month view of all the reports, and a week view. Let's see today. And then a by inspector view. So you can see, me and the other inspectors that are on my team, test inspectors, obviously, but, and so, yeah. And so all this, when we do the calendar integration, with Google Calendar or whatever else, we'll show these times as being blocked out. You can also currently block out times, by, selecting. I mean, you can have this be your only view. It'll default to it. So you can schedule a report, block time, pretty much anything else you could do from the normal history view that we designed a long time ago. So that's all there now as well.
Uh, cool. So Roger was asking, can I
Oh,
change?
and we have.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I was gonna say we also have dark mode, which is another nice UI thing that we've had around for a while now, but the whole system can be set up in dark mode, which is a very it's really really nice actually for those of us who work constantly in an office. So anyway, so what was Roger asking?
Yeah, so can you change the sequence of the order form so he wants to start with the calendar first?
So if you go, let me see if I can go back to that. Uh, uh, if you go back to sorry, this. Right now you can't change. Let's see. Let me refresh this. I could, so I could, start a new scheduling. You can't right now. We can't change this. We could. There's probably no reason why we wouldn't be able to, but we did add this want to check availability first. We're kind of. I went back and forth on this and talked with our team, and obviously a lot of agents, especially the first thing they want to know is if you're available. And so they can always, hit that and go to the availability. Um, and they can select it and then it'll take them back to whatever step they are in the process. You can also jump around here at will, right? If you're curious about what kind of services your inspector does or whatnot, right? You can fill a property address and your square footage, and then this will all fill in,
I
right?
think it's
So
a pretty great
um,
solution,
the
Steve. I mean,
the user is has a lot of power on this. So the client. The reason why we went with this approach first is, and we don't do this yet, but the intention is let's say, I started filling this in, and then did, my email address, and then hit continue, and then I dropped out and I like closed it, got distracted, didn't do anything else. We already have now your name and email address, and that will be able to then notify you as the inspector of, hey, this person started it, but for some reason they're not completing the form. So maybe you want to reach out to them and follow up and see like maybe something happened or they looked at your available times and you can talk, just start dialogue with them. Right. And so for the business sake, it's best to collect client information as soon as possible. Obviously for your client, they're most interested in knowing what services you do and when you can do them or how quickly you can do them. So um we may consider, if this ends up being important to you, Roger, or anyone else, we get a lot of feedback on it, we may consider like the ability to reorder these. We don't yet also have the ability to change this language, but that is something that will be something that's part of our upcoming release. And so you can put whatever language you want here that best fits your personality and style. You'll be able to style all this with CSS, et cetera, and make it match your website. Ultimately, I want to be able to say, stick your AI on your website and say, come up with the best looking, form for this, which should be fairly easy for us to do. And so you won't even need to deal with CSS. It'll just write it for you. So those are all in our plans.
nice. Hopefully that answers your question, Roger. He also wanted to know, will the final release this month support end-to-end order completion, allowing customers to complete the order? And it sounds like it basically does, but right now we've built in a step where you confirm it. So it sounds like Roger might be interested in having a version where you could disable the confirmation process. Like that could be cool where you could like have it automatically book you, or if you're like me and you don't want anybody to book any of your time automatically, you could keep the approval first.
That is actually not a request I've gotten before, and it would be easy enough to add. So,
Oh, yes, I've asked for it several times.
no, Roger, yes, and I want to get your ass on the. Are you on the beta? Are you using this yet?
Yeah, I've started playing with it.
Okay. Okay. I think you have. Maybe it's been a while or something, but so you just want it to be automatically confirmed when, if the time is available on your calendar, they get it, right?
Correct. Because
Yeah.
unlike Dylan, I'm in a pretty tight circle. And
Yep.
so I will get people that schedule simultaneously.
Yeah.
So if they're two schedule requests and they're
Yep.
not automatically accepted, then I have to decide who's going to win. And I might
Well,
not be able
so
to do that at 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, totally. But to clarify, when they pick a time and they schedule it, it automatically appears as blocked off.
Correct.
So it will not appear as
Oh,
let's
oh,
see. It will not appear as let's see. It will not appear in this list if somebody immediately came before them and scheduled the time and hit confirm.
okay.
Or
What about
and
for
so
the
even if you
incomplete
haven't
orders?
confirmed it, for the incomplete, I mean, if they haven't hit, submit requests, then somebody else could get it. If they hit submit request and somebody else already has it, they'll get an error and be told to pick a new time. It's already been taken.
How about we add a message that says, hurry up and submit request before somebody else gets it?
Totally right. Yeah, yeah. Yep. And Roger, I mean, it would be no problem for us, especially through those automations, to say, um, that a report is automatically confirmed,
Yes,
and it
appointment.
saves you one more step of like having to do something,
Yeah,
and it
I
will
could
just
see
automatically send them the
inspectors.
corp. Yeah,
I
totally.
I could see people wanting it both ways. I like the way you built it, but I could totally get why people want it the
Yep.
other way too,
Hey, Steve.
Yep.
Steve, can we use it as just a booking system only with no pricing at all, just to confirm an appointment?
Yes, sir. Yep. Yep. And
How would you set that up, Steve?
that's all configurable through your services. So uh, um, under here with services, you don't have to give it a pricing. You could just say call for a quote.
And it'll just book it.
So there we go. It'll just book it. Yep.
Yeah, because we don't show prices. We price when we
Yeah.
call back to
If you
confirm.
that's perfect. I love it. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I'll make sure that works if you haven't already. But uh, um, the if I'm going there's but the yeah that is definitely something that's built in to be able to I mean on any of these things you can always just call for quote is what we call it. Does that work for you, Chris?
Yeah, so it'll book it, but and just when we confirm with them, we can price it out and then load that into the.
Yep.
Okay.
And for Chris's examples where that confirmation step would be kind of perfect because it's like they're kind of tentatively booking a spot, but then you're going to call to confirm pricing and stuff, and then you could manually just hit that confirm button once you have a
Yep.
price.
Yep. Yep.
That makes
And
sense.
these things are I'm glad you all are here. Um, and this is obviously a lot of complexity and a lot of work, and a lot of, little niggly features and different ways people like doing things. And I'm a developer, so I'm not even an inspector. So like I'm just doing this all based on your all feedback. And so the more that you can get those feature requests to us, especially this pre-release time, that really helps us to flesh out these features and make sure that they fit for all of you. So thank you for the feedback, and please keep it coming. And if you're not already on our beta, I would love for you to join our beta if this is something that's of interest to you. As you can see, you can fully use and explore and play with the product and functionality and continue using ISN or IGO or your own, the schedule you have built out. There's no commitment here. My account is integrated with both ISN and IGO, and I can import reports from that and continue to use their systems while still playing with this. And our system will know, oh, this report came in from from our integrated scheduler. When you publish, do this different path. Whereas like if another report comes from IGO or ISN, when you publish, it'll publish it back to IGO and ISN. All that stuff all works beautifully now, and lots of our inspectors already use it in that way. So there's no real commitment to getting on our beta and trying to move over to our scheduler, and you can move over when you're ready. So but if we want to know the gaps of where the gaps are occurring that are preventing you from moving over.
Well,
So we can
scheduling
make
is
sure
tricky
that all
because
that
there's
works.
like tens of thousands of edge cases, like because everybody
Right.
wants to do things differently.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I don't like IGOs, and the only reason why I pay $590 a year to Home Gauge is because their scheduler was the easiest thing out there for a client just to book your time, and load that information into the report.
Yep.
I played with iGo for quite a while, and it never really got cleaned up. It's very cumbersome. This is very easy to do.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
you've got. That's, I've been playing with it now for about a month and a half,
Right.
and
awesome,
I'm ready to
Chris.
go live because I don't want to throw another $590 at Home Spectora just to book my inspections.
No doubt, it's because you have such a simple approach too. So yeah. So let me know. I mean, especially if your deadline is coming up, Chris, let me know what I need to do to make sure that you
Yeah.
are that you have what you need to
No,
to
I
to
think I
proceed.
think you're good, Steve. As long as, like I said, as long as they can book us, because again, in our market, in the tri-state area in New York, we don't show prices because our competitors play the price game.
Yes, of course.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
all right, we price out because again, we're salesmen, not just inspectors. So, it's easier for me to explain why my price is this much, and rather than have some guy down the
Yeah.
road, playing let's outprice the inspector.
So, guys, I'm going to keep going. There's a few
Yeah.
more questions, if that's all right. I'll keep going. Max was asking, can I schedule inspections myself without the client link?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So you do that. You continue to do that in the same way that we do through the interface. You can just create a new report, or you can schedule a report if you don't want to apply a template.
Oh, I think we lost Steve. Still there, Steve?
Doing some great stuff though, Dylan. It really is. It's really
Yeah, this is
putting
so
a
exciting, man. It's freaking incredible. I haven't really, I've been so deep in so many other things, I haven't been messing with it too much. So I kind of think Steve's internet cut out there. I'll see if I can keep answering a few of these questions. But anyway, Max, I mean, I think, yeah, you can always just book. I mean, you could use your link and like book from your own website or that own link, or you can just like start a new report and do it that way. So, Louis, I thought you had a really good suggestion. His suggestion was calling it a discount for cash or checks could keep you out of trouble with a credit card processor. That's a nice way to go, and I think I'm going to make that. Steve said his computer died. That's pretty funny.
not a good sign.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm just texting him. That's pretty funny. All right. So anyway, I think that's a great idea, Louis. Scott, do we bring our current credit card? So my understanding, Steve would know a little bit better than I do, but we've used Pay Factory or Payment Factory for our first integration. I don't know if we'll do others or not. They were kind of InterNACHI sponsored and certified, so and we shopped around a bit to try to figure out. So you can submit if you want to use them, you submit an application to them. It's pretty easy, and then you can get you can take credit cards and electronic payments right through the app. So, and I think
Okay.
that's all built in to Scribe. Where I don't know at some point if we'll start offering other things. I do think that probably like if you, for example, wanted everybody to pay through like a one of those scan code things, you could probably build that in and sort of, have that be in the client portal, so to speak. Steve would be able to speak a little bit more intelligently than I can on that, but there's probably some workarounds if you don't want to use Pay Factory.
Yeah, you can
Um,
put a link, like if you have, I'll pay with Venmo, you can put a QR code in there as the description of how to pay with Venmo, but then you have to manually mark it.
yeah, cool. Yeah, so
Right.
there'd be some options there if you don't want to use that. Uh, I'm glad you're here, Tim. Maybe you can help out. Will the invoice numbers auto increment if using Pay Factory. I have no clue on that one. Do you, Tim?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I haven't tested it.
Sorry, Wayne. If we get Steve back, we might stand a chance. And Dana, I think it's yeah, we've answered your question there. Sounds like Roger's suggestion's a popular one where some people want to auto book. Does it block the time while they are filling it out, or does it block it only after? I think we learned, Brian, that they have to hit the confirm button in order to have it block that slot off. So I suppose there's some risk that somebody, while they're filling it out, could lose it to another person. I kind of like the idea of hurry up and click here before you lose your spot. But anyway, we can see how that goes. Does it integrate with my website? Yeah. So that's I can show that, David. I'll share my screen. Can you guys see my screen okay now?
Yep.
So if you go under settings and what is it?
Under scheduling.
Scheduling. It's just this link. So you'd put this URL and send this URL to your um
But to answer your question, the second one there is iframe, and that's a pretty standard way to embed something into a website. So if you wanted it to like have your website look and then just have the form built into that, then you would just copy that iframe code over and it just takes the form out and sticks it into your website, however you determine how to do it in your website editor.
does that make sense on that last question, everybody? I think that was David's question. David, you good with that one?
Well, the second half of David's question is, do you have to host his website in order to get this functionality, kind of like Spectora? And the answer is no, you don't want to host other people's websites, right?
That's absolutely right. Yeah, yeah, so this is free for you to use on whatever website you're using. We're not trying to manage that. So yeah, if any website, but it sounds like you use WordPress, you'd be good to go. I think what Tim corrected me, I think the one that you would want to put in there is this lower one, this wireframe or what iframe thing. And you put that on your website and then that would essentially look like this thing would show up on your website.
Yeah, but you could use the scheduling URL in your email um, signature and people could click it from anywhere.
That's right. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Uh, Dylan,
Yeah.
are you guys, unless I missed it, are you guys going to be talking about your commercial platform?
We could do that some. I mean, we kind of got through this meeting. The intention was to try to get through all the scheduling stuff, but I'd be happy to stick around for a little bit if anybody wants to talk commercial stuff. I mean, why
Well,
don't we make sure there's not other questions on
sure.
scheduling before we change horses? But I think I got through all the questions in the chat. Anybody else or comments or suggestions? And just if you're newer to Scribeware, a great thing to know about is we have submit feedback as this button at the lower left. But if you hit that, you can always send us suggestions and stuff, and that'll get to our whole team. And we every once in a while something slips by us, but we're pretty good at managing all that. So if you have comments or ideas that you want, feel free to hit us up with any other things.
Hey, Dylan.
Yeah.
I know that there were a couple things that I had emailed about earlier.
Uh-huh.
So we can talk about those tomorrow or email or text or whatever. But the one thing I went into my Scribeware during this, and I don't have even half of the things under settings that
Yeah,
you
so
guys
you probably
have.
are not on the beta. So if you submit feedback and ask to get on beta, then you'll have a version that looks a lot closer to everything we're talking about here.
Okay, yeah. And then so we still need to talk about why my contracts are showing up as images instead. I can't upload
Yeah,
anything.
that's interesting. Did you paste your contract in?
I copied the text for my contract and pasted it in
What did you copy it from?
a Word document.
Huh. Yeah, those should paste in
I know.
just fine. I've done it millions of times. If you get on the beta and then just redo it, that might solve your problem because I do think the contract editor has been updated for
Okay, cool.
the beta version. So, I mean,
Okay.
you might try that because it sounds like you want that some of that functionality anyway, and then that might solve our problem.
Yeah.
And if not, then we can go back to the well and try to figure it
Yeah.
out.
I just set all of this stuff in, I just set it all up in Acuity and Sign Now. I literally just finished.
Okay,
So
nice,
at least
nice,
I know what I'm going to put for my services and everything. It's just like,
great,
aha. Yeah.
awesome.
So,
That's great.
okay, well, I'll request to be a part of the beta and then
Cool.
if that
Hopefully that
doesn't work,
fixes it, but if not, use that feedback. Sorry, today
yep,
was just hectic trying to get all prepared for this and stuff.
yep,
So
all good, no worries.
right,
All
right
right,
on. Great.
thanks so
Yeah,
much.
thanks for being on here.
Bye.
Cool. Anybody have other comments or questions? And if not, is everybody cool if we move on to a little bit of commercial stuff? Steve, you made it back on your phone, buddy.
Barely. I don't know if you can hear me, but yeah, for some, I realized that my computer power is cutting out, so I don't know why, and it's always
That's
an
awesome.
opportune time for something like that to happen. So it just died randomly on me, and now it's having trouble charging. So it might be able to get back on, but I can, in the meantime, I can help through here.
Well, th thank you so much, Steve. That was an amazing walkthrough, and I'm super stoked, man. I'm gonna start putting it in its paces here soon.
Right. Thank you.
Right on. Well, do you guys want to play around with commercials for a minute? Would that be fun? I mean, we've already gone an hour and 15 minutes, but I mean, I got some time. So let's talk a little bit about commercial. I could show you. Are you interested in the commercial template that we built, or in table functionality, or both?
Yes.
Yes.
Mainly tables, but if you, from what you've described, the commercial template has a somewhat of a simpler approach without such an exhaustive library of comments, right?
Yeah, let's go through it because this is sort of a cool concept here. This is a commercial job I did. So I'd love, feedback welcome here. But when I started thinking about building a commercial template, and the one that I have here is kind of like I think my sixth version of it. One of the things that I've always felt about commercial is that having a narrative library the way we do with residential just doesn't work very well for commercial. For starters, over 50% of what you find is weird and doesn't fit into a comment nicely. And if you try to make a library that had everything for commercial, it would be so massive, it would just be a cumbersome. So the cool thing about Scribeware is we have techniques for handling weird stuff really well if you design a template around that. So let me show you. I'll just look at this. This is a live job I did. This is a very simple commercial building, so nothing too crazy here, but finished report. Can you guys see the finished report here? If I bring that over. Guys seeing
Yeah.
that? Cool. So I decided to keep a summary page. If you want, you could turn it off. And I kind of used a lot of my, like my major concern, similar modifiers to how I would use for residential. I did add summary items because one of the things I find with commercial is a lot of ways it's almost easier to just use voice to text or write an overview of like how the systems are here. So I have one for the cladding system where I did kind of an overview statement. I did one for the ground system, for the roofing system. So kind of in a way, when sometimes you could be dealing with like six different buildings, right? So the way that we think about report writing in residential, where you might have six different roofs systems, you now have much more of a need, I think, to summarize in general. So that's why I created this summary modifier. If we click in the full report, uh, there's some interesting stuff with the chapters here. I really try to divide the systems into like grounds and envelope, common garage, decks and stairs. So these would all be like common systems. And then I've got a chapter per unit. So if we click on main floor unit, now that the end user can click on the main floor unit and everything's in one place. So, I've got the walls and ceilings. I've got here's some pictures of the space above the drop ceiling. I've got pictures of flooring getting older. I've got some door repairs. And the door repairs are a good example of a comment that I designed that's flexible. So I just used a parent comment that was like, repairs are needed to the doors. The following observations were noted. Hire somebody to fix it. So my workflow when I'm doing a commercial inspection is I click one button that door repairs are needed. I drop these three captioned pictures in, and I hit the photo captions to bullets button to make the comment. That'll make sense. You guys, might walk you through that, what that's like on the back end. Here, I'll do it real quick. If you're new to Scribeware, like to me, this is like one of the
No,
quick.
I get it.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm
Dylan,
already,
I just got a quick question.
hang on, let me just finish the
Oh, sure.
demonstration part. So this is what that comment looks like. I can click up here and I can hit door repairs / maintenance. And then, I used voice to text, caption these pictures as I went, and I hit this button, and that's how I built the comment. So it's an incredibly fast workflow. And the cool thing is on site as you go, like under doors, if you look at the template that I built, I only have like a handful of comments. I've got a general parent comment, and then I built some gunny sacks around exit doors and fire doors because that gets kind of specific to commercial. So
Yeah.
it's just an example of how like I really didn't try to build 50 million comments in here. I literally interior doors, there's maybe 4 or 5 different comments. Of course, there's gunny sacks within there and parent comments. So you only need a handful of interior door comments in order to be able to handle dozens and thousands, essentially, of different weird things that you're going to find on a commercial building, if that makes sense. Okay, somebody had a question about that as I was going.
Dylan, I'm sorry. How did you set up your template to have the decimal outline numbering system, like the 8.15? I've been manually doing
That's a
that.
good question. Tim, this is a little Tim thing. So you guys notice that in the commercial, we're using like a numbering system without the letters. So if you go under Scribeware, that's a great question, and settings and report templates. So this is the CCPA. This is an older one, 4.0. Where is it? Right here. Use numeric observation keys.
Oh, okay.
You guys see that one? And this is too where like if you wanted to not have a summary, which I've kind of flirted with the idea, sometimes on commercial I might shut off a summary page. You could do that and just turn it off, if you don't want to have a summary. I mean, I kind of like the summaries in general, but sometimes if you're doing too big of a project, I feel like the summary can almost be confusing. Um, so yeah, that make everybody with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So
Well,
Dylan,
sorry, Dylan, one more
yeah,
thing to add to that. I think the numbering is still part of only the beta.
that makes sense. I mean, a lot of what you're seeing here, not this template, but like there's a bunch of features here. Unfortunately, we've been waiting to release beta to everybody until we get scheduling and AI integrations and stuff, which means we have this is an unusual moment in Scriber where we have kind of an insane amount of stuff in beta. So if you're not on beta, like I'm sorry, but like there's definitely some things, but we're trying to fix that here in the next like month. So that'll be good. But notice, I mean, one potential drawback of how I've designed this template is I kind of have everything. I have an entire interior all built in a single section. What's really cool about this on mobile is like you don't really have a lot of navigation. Like you're just in a section and you kind of move around within a section. But I can really I've designed this here. We could go into this and I'll just go ahead and I'll add a new one so you can see. I'm just going to copy this chapter so we could see a blank one that hasn't been filled in. But you can see I've got, all these pull downs handle a lot of interior stuff like flooring and doors. And then I've used all these buttons down here. And the buttons are so cool and commercial because let's say you're doing a dentist office and there's 13 sinks in the unit. I mean, anybody like I've been there, right? And like, how do you freaking handle that on your template? Well, now you just go click, click. Click, and if you want, you could, call it sync number one, and notice how these show up as information only. And so if you wanted to, you could just drop a picture in, and then if there's a defect, you could switch it from information only to repair. You could click on recommendation gunny sack, hire somebody to fix it. And the idea is you'd use the photo captions to bullets here. You'd bring this in and you would take a picture of this sink leaks, right? And you'd save that and you could do the little photo captions to bullets button. So that was my idea of having this very flexible template. Like the one thing I would say if you're interested in using this template, and it's pretty good in Scribeware in general, is just learn how to use the mobile app to take pictures and caption them. If you can get good at that, you can create an amazing amount of flexibility for yourself. And it's really extraordinary. I mean, I've gotten really good at that and I can capture the most granular, specific detail really quickly. I'll snap a picture and I'll be like, the fifth sink on the north side of the dentist office is leaking. And it's like you can't build that stuff into your template, right? I mean, it's not possible. And whereas if you use voice to text and you get good at it, you can capture that really effortlessly. And then with those captioned pictures, if you're in a hurry, you can always like put your a pretty good report together afterwards. So you'll see if anybody wants to play with this template, I can load it for you. We haven't even gotten into tables yet. So let me show you tables. But let's say I want to add a water heater here. Now within this observation, this is what the table looks like in this field. So I could click on this and we could say it's an American water heater, it's electric, it's an electric tank, it's from 2016. It's middle-aged and no repairs are needed, and it's in the utility room. So that's kind of what a table looks like. And then, of course, you could drop some pictures in. And if there were issues with this water heater, we could click on this and say that yes, repairs are needed. And these fields are all customizable. I'm just showing you the way I built this. You could then go under observations and we could say, well, seismic restraints are missing and the TPRV shouldn't be corrugated, the discharge tube. So we'll call it a repair and we'll recommend, uh, let's see, water heater repairs as needed, right? So you see how like the idea is like I'm now being very specific and yet I'm really just clicking on things. I didn't have to write anything. And then what this ends up looking like, if we go back to this commercial job that we had open uh, in the very beginning, where do I have it? Can't remember where I put them here. Here it is. So this is kind of cool, but when you fill out each one of these little water heaters, in this case, I was doing heat pumps, it's making a systems inventory of all these systems. So once you have table functionality set up as you go, you're just clicking on A.O. Smith or Bradford White or whatever, and all that stuff's populating here. So it was no extra work to build this thing. Like all this is I was just using the tables to fill in my styles and materials within a comment. And then, of course, I had to set this up in my template that I would create a systems inventory. You could also use the tables to do cost to cure. Steve or Tim, excuse me, has been actually working on that and might be able to show you a little better than I can. But I wasn't doing cost to cure for this job. I just wanted to have a systems inventory. But I mean, you could even do this in residential if you wanted to. It's kind of neat. I think that the client has this one glance where they can like see all the different, what I would call disposable systems in the building,
Hey,
Yeah.
Dylan, just a question. You set these parameters up in tags. Is that how like you can pull up those and then that's how it populates
Yeah,
the
so
table?
let me show you. So let's go under settings and smart tags. You guys see where I am here. And again, if you're not on beta, you won't see this, so I apologize. But and then these are all the different tags that I have built. And then you can add a new tag group. So we could hit add a new one and we could call this siding systems. And then we can add a smart tag. And so then we could call this like OSB and see, I haven't done one of these in a while, so
Yeah, the smart tag would be citing type, and then the details would be OSB or
oh, here
underlying
it
type
is.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
sorry about that. So this would
Yeah,
Yeah,
be
citing.
citing systems, and then or yeah, we could do this citing materials, right? And we could do fiber, cement, OSB, vinyl, um, wood, and done. And so now we have this new citing systems, and you could click on it and open it up. And this, I need to make a whole series of videos around this. Tim's done an incredible job. This is really customizable. So like the start attached is interesting because then it becomes well, the detail required makes it a required field, which is kind of interesting. So now you've got like you can use our flagging system to help make sure you find all of these things. And then start attached actually I believe will put this tag, you could like attach it to your siding section. So notice how if I go back into my template and I hit add water heater, see how these are all required fields and this whole table automatically pops up. So every time I hit add new water heater, I get a whole new table and I have a whole new set of fields that I can use. So it's really, I think Tim's just done an incredible job. I mean, for systems inventories, once you have this set up, you're sort of cranking. I mean, it's like filling in styles and materials anywhere. The next shoe to drop will be an AI workflow where you could have it read the data plate for you, the data tag and fill these things out. You know, I, it's amazing. There's a lot of like the whole photo recognition in AI to me is fraught with risk. But whatever, it's a neat like parlor trick. But I would proofread it is I guess what I'm getting at there. Like I don't really trust that at the moment. But I think Tim's actually done that. Haven't you done it, Tim?
Yeah. I mean, you can do it with the MCP right now. It's not built in, but you can have it set up you can just say, hey, find the water heater comment, look at the picture I put in there, and fill out the smart tag table,
That's pretty cool.
and it'll do
Yeah.
it.
So, and that stuff will just get more integrated and a little bit easier here soon. And I actually bet it'll work pretty well, but I would still be cautious if I were using that like on a live job all the time just to proofread them. Um, yeah, so I wanted to show you how you set tables. So where is mine? So if you go to the overview section, this is where you can configure tables. Isn't that right, Tim? Uh, and you can there's smart tags. Do you want to take over this part, Tim? And like,
Yeah, I think we'll do a whole nother meetup on this at
yeah,
some point. I'm not sure why your tables aren't showing up right there. I'll have to look at that because you should have some configured. It might be because it's from an old version.
that's probably it.
Um,
Because this template's like 6 months old, or this
yeah, I
job.
think some things have changed with the configuration that um, aren't making them show up there.
I could actually bring up. This is my latest one that it'll probably show up in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this should
so
look
here
good.
they are. So under the overview is where you can kind of choose you could add a table. So like it's possible that like I don't know if I saved that siding one, but like I have a cost to cure table, I have a capital reserve study, decks, laundry facilities, roofing, water heaters. So most of this is systems inventory, but a couple of these are more sort of dollars and cents that are all built in. But you could add a reserve study and create a table. Uh, anyway. I'd actually built a reserve study in one if you want to see it. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. Oh, it's funny. This is that bug I wanted to show Steve. I think the homepage has to fully load. I get anxious and click on search. If I don't let it load, it just brings up a new job. So this is another report that I did that has
I messed my pretzel order up. I put no butter. Can I have the? Yeah, thank you.
Have the butter.
that's awesome. So
Sounds
this
like the
has
microphone system works.
So this one has like a whole capital reserve study, and I've never done one. This was kind of just a sample. So if you guys do these, Bob, or anybody that's doing commercial, you might be better at these than I am. But it's pretty neat. You can build all this stuff out and have like the size. I mean, I think this is close to like some of those ASTM type things where you have expected useful life, remaining useful life, estimated replacement year, estimated replacement cost. And so it did, and it summed up all of these for me. So I don't know, we'll be doing a whole meetup on tables here probably in the next month or two, something like that. So we'll kind of keep diving into them. But does that give you guys at least kind of a flavor of what's going on? And if you want to be using these, I can load for you
Fantastic.
my version of a commercial template that you're welcome to start playing with. You do need to be on beta in order to get the tables working. But it's
I'd
all
like to, I'd like to do that because it just seems we're on a migration path to commercial in general.
great. If you want it, what you could do for me is use the submit feedback here.
Yep.
Because then we have your email and it's all captured. So just use submit feedback and say, hey, it's me. I really want that commercial template. And we do need to make sure you're on beta too. But Tim and I can talk when those come in and we can try to load this stuff for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I used it 3 times last week, that commercial template.
How did it go for you, Tom?
Man, I was really happy with it. It was nice. They were spaced apart a little bit, so I made a few little tweaks, but it got me through. It was a 3-site complex, and being that it was my first time too, I told the guy, I said, look, I've got a new system here, and I want to break this up into 3 separate buildings. So I was able to use it 3 times on one large job. Really great. A lot of lessons learned on the first one, but really simple. Really simple. Like you said, fast.
Was the navigation pretty good on mobile? I mean, was it easy for you to kind of keep? I mean, one of the things I really tried hard was to make a template where it's easy to stay organized, where you can as you go, you can put your pictures where they need to be, because you can always clean that stuff up later if you can get your pictures organized, right? Like to me, that's the biggest challenge on commercial.
So when I came home from that first job, I had probably 350, 400 pictures taken, and all but about 10 of them were organized right where they should be.
Oh,
I was so happy. It was just such a relief.
That's
and the tables, the guy called me today because the last report went out this morning or yesterday morning. I can't, everything blends together. He called me this morning and he says, fantastic reports. He loved the tables.
Great.
Loved the tables because it just gave him, it's a husband, wife, and it gave him the breakdown real quick of here's the systems, here's what we can expect to have to do. It was a big hit, and I'm gonna hone it. I'm gonna hone it a little bit more, but it was a big hit.
Well, that's what we want to supply in Scribeware is more the skeleton. I mean, I don't want to try to, if I try to flush out every little thing, it's going to drive everybody nuts and not be as useful, So I think I'm kind of done with it, but some people might not like it. I definitely, it's built for speed, but it's also because of the table functionality and the ability to do cost to cure and the simplicity of it. I think it gets commercial building owners what they want more quickly. Like they don't need all the fluff and stuff. They're not that interested in that.
They only want to know what's wrong. They just want to know what's wrong.
That's right. So I think this is a very effective template for that, is my thinking, but I definitely, everybody does everything differently, and I don't do a ton of commercial. I do, 3 a year or something. So unfortunately, I don't get to test it as much as I would like, but I'm just busy. Right. Somebody's got to have me out, and I'll do some commercial jobs with somebody, and we can tweak the template.
For sure.
But that's great. Good feedback, Tom. I'm glad you liked it. And
that is good feedback.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hopefully there's more on the way.
Yeah. here in this one, you can see I just used copy chapter, right? And I made a restaurant in unit 200 and 202 and 204 and unit 100. And I actually kind of rebuilt this. I did this job on a different template originally and kind of reconstructed it. So it's not perfect, but I really think I think this template is incredibly flexible. And if you understand the logic and you get your head around just taking pictures and captioning them, there's a place to put your photos that's pretty easy to find for like anything you're going to run into for the most part. And to me, that like the nightmare of a commercial is you get home and you have like 50 pictures of heat pumps. It's like, I have no idea like which picture goes to what. And like, it's just,
that's happened. And it's very difficult to sift through all that.
Isn't it? I mean, if you show up and it's like that, it's like now your brain is just so taxed trying to figure that out. And so the idea to me is photo buckets is the concept, and it's kind of why if we go to like how I built this interior, I just copy this chapter real quick. But all of these little buttons just create photo buckets. I mean, now every time you see a piece of electric service equipment, you drop pictures in, and then if there's another one, you just click the button again. So the buttons were Tim's idea, but they're really brilliant, and they kind of keep you organized. And that's sort of the combination of photo captions to bullets, gunny sacks, and buttons are what create this incredibly flexible template that lets you really move pretty quickly and just, but again, like if I were using this template and you don't know how to take a picture and use voice to text to caption it, it'll be it'll be a little bit harder, it's really designed for that workflow. But I think you're crazy not to have that workflow down. In Scribeware, it's so effective. And on a commercial building, I often find there's not people following you around the whole time quite so much. So a little easier to do voice to text, but right on. Well, we've kind of gone over our normal hour and a half allotment. Does anybody have any pressing questions? We got to a lot today. We got the whole scheduling system, and we dove into a little bit of commercial, and I even gave you guys a glimpse of the MCP. So psyched to have everybody here, but some pretty exciting, fun stuff coming down the pike here. I can't wait. The next 6 months is going to be wild, you guys. Like I will be. I think we're going to be doing reports in just different ways in the next 6 months. Like all the AI stuff is just mind blowing. It's pretty cool.
Well, listen, thanks for sharing. We appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Thanks for being here. And like I said, if you want that commercial template, use that submit feedback. I'm happy to get it to you. And keep giving us your feedback. And next month, hopefully, we'll be doing a meeting maybe on the AI integration. That could be the next big thing we'll talk about, or tables. Let us know what you want to learn about. When I've got a lot of video making to do here relatively soon once all this stuff drops. But
is the AI integration on beta yet, Dylan?
It is, yeah.
I'll be honest, I haven't even looked. I have beta. I haven't looked.
It's not out to everybody yet. It will be soon.
Okay.
We have to turn it on for people initially. I've got one more rendition. We've got to change a couple things to it. And once that, and the next thing we're doing is adding some company context so that you can actually teach it and it can save it in a place where it'll be useful. And so after that update comes out, then we're going to open it to all beta testers. And then once when it goes live, it'll be open to everybody.
And the per company content is so critical because, like, for example, you could create a little pre-send checklist that you wanted to review 15 different things for you. And that's the kind of thing that, like, we can't build that on our end because everybody's is going to be different, but you're going to be able to start building these little commands and that you could push it through whenever you want. And it's setting up your company logic. So that's super exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice, guys. Good seeing everybody. We'll see you guys next month, and hit us up if you need anything.
All right. Thank you for being here.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you. Great
And I'll
job.
see you guys. Cheers.
Okay.